John Cena would say, you can't see me, but we can all see Big Match Harry, because there's something about Harry, Dirty Harry. What's his secret? Well, we're going to find out right here, right now. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. It's time to review Season 2, Episode 10 of Dexter. This one was called There's Something About Harry, which kind of rings a bell to There's Something About Mary movie. I guess it's technically the same title, minus the name swap at the end. We don't have a Mary, we do have a Harry, and we find out one of Harry's dark secrets. So, at the beginning of the episode, we're at the cabin. Dexter's treating the bullet from Doakes. Doakes is saying, I hope it does it hurt? I hope it fucking hurts. And, yeah.
Is it deep? Is it deep, Dex?
It better be deep. Dexter taunts him, accusing him of being a killer at heart. Says, you're just like me, Doakes, you're a killer. But Doakes is adamant, I'm not a killer, I'm no killer. Dexter lists all the kills he has. He says that he's got more officer-related shootings than anyone else at Miami Metro. And that's why he sensed something about Dexter, because killers can see killers. Doakes says that he only kills while on the job, but Dexter claims that his code is better than the criminal justice system because it requires a higher level of proof. And while bandaging his leg, he claims that he is a bargain for society because he does his killing for free, whereas Doakes requires a paycheck. So, what did you think of the wee opening battle here, the battle of words between Doakes and Dexter? Dexter claiming that they're both the same. Doakes is like, I'm not like you.
Well, he's definitely not like him. Like, yeah, they're both killers by the word, but, I mean, come on, Dexter.
I would say that Doakes is just, I would say he's a better officer than most people. I'd say he's a braver officer than most people, therefore he's probably going to be in more related shootings than anyone else.
No, but let's be real, right? Dexter calls him a killer, but then he says, when he's talking to himself, oh, I can't kill Doakes, it would be against Harry's code. Well, if he's a killer, then it wouldn't be. So what's it gonna be, buddy?
True, plus, let's be honest, Doakes is a highly skilled individual, so it's probably easier for him to kill people than it is others from the Miami Metro, because Doakes is going to be more accurate with his shooting.
The high-ranking guys, man, they get the more kills rather than your wee traffic cops. Come on,
yeah,
man.
It's not like Masuka's going to be challenging Doakes here for kills, is it?
Although his gun might challenge.
Well, it's a pretty big gun.
Sure.
Yeah, you're compensating there, buddy. In the morning, we see Dexter disposing of Jimenez's remains because he got to get rid of the bodies. He had to sneak out of his apartment because he's under surveillance. He's under watch. He's got Lundy's FBI guys on him at all times. It's becoming a bit of a hindrance, I think, for Dexter at this stage. We then see a bit of a flashback with Harry at a crime scene. For some reason, though, Deborah is at this one, although she is staying in the car. Harry orders her not to get out. Dexter gets close to the crime scene. Deborah wants to get close, but Harry's not happy, and he shouts her to stay in the car. So, yeah, it's a woman that was murdered by some pimp called Juan Rhinus. So, yeah, Harry's not too happy about this, and I think he's been after this guy for a while. We then see Dexter. He is awoken by a visit from Rita, and she realises that Doakes is the Bay Harbour butcher. She's seen it on the news, and then the conversation starts turning into Cody and Astor, and she kind of wants Dexter to stay around because she thinks that he is good for the kids, but it doesn't mean they're back together. It doesn't mean that they're dating. However, Dexter is just happy that he's going to be in their lives again, and he agrees to accompany them to the beach on Saturday at the weekend. Now, Dexter, for a guy that started the series, didn't really care about anybody. He was only picking this family to kind of blend in and not be noticed as some sort of, psychotic single guy on his own. He didn't want to bring attention to himself. Seems like he has grown pretty fond of Astor and Cody.
You know, he has absolutely, but, you know, the more time you spend around people, the more likely you're going to care. So it's back on track.
Yeah.
The relationship with the kids.
At the station, Deb and Lundy realise that LaGuerta was on the phone with Doakes. They look at Doakes' phone records. Lundy tells Deb she needs to confront LaGuerta, but Deb doesn't really want to do it because LaGuerta already doesn't like her. And she is her boss at the end of the day. She is above her. And then Lundy drops a bombshell that once this case is over, he's going to be leaving Miami, and that pisses Deborah off because she's thinking, well, what about me?
What about me? What about Deborah? What's she expecting, though? This guy, this is his gimmick. He comes in, he closes the case and he fucks off.
Yeah, Deb then basically gets told to fuck off when she goes into LaGuerta's office. She's trying to say that, look, you should have reported that. You could be putting your job at risk here. We need to know what's happening with Doakes. And LaGuerta says that she knows that Doakes isn't innocent and that if Deborah's got a problem with the matter, then she can take it up to Captain Matthews. So, yeah, she obviously thinks that getting punished, perhaps, for protecting Doakes is worth it.
She must have a good relationship with Doakes to protect him that much.
Yeah, we then see Lundy go over all of Doakes' fake IDs, and there's quite a lot of them. This guy's got a lot of fake IDs. A lot.
Yeah, afros.
He looks different in every single one.
It was good aliases.
IDs, motherfucker.
IDs, how many you got?
LaGuerta then approaches Batista and she gets a list of the 12 victims from him. So it's almost like LaGuerta's not even involved here with Lundy's investigation. She's just trying to stay silent in the background and perhaps work an investigation of her own. Then Dexter asks Lundy to pull off the protective FBI detail off him, and Lundy agrees. Although Deb doesn't like it, she confronts him. Dexter says that Doakes is a trained killer, but he wouldn't be dumb enough to come out of hiding just to settle a grudge. But yeah, Deb then criticises Lundy, and it becomes clear she's upset that he's going to depart from Miami, which I guess is pretty normal.
Yeah, don't expect much else from her here to be upset, but should you not have expected this guy to...
Oh, he could retire if he wants, like, I mean,
I'm sure he's on a decent salary. Wee Lundy. More than us.
Yeah, Dexter then realises that Deb, Rita, Astor and Cody would all be devastated if they learned the truth and he got put away or he went to jail and he was out their life. So he decides that he's going to kill Doakes. He doesn't really fit the code, but he has to do it. He's been pushed into a corner and he can't escape. He then finds Jimenez's cell phone on the table. Doakes finds his cell phone on the table, tries to reach it, but unfortunately Dexter comes into the cabin before he can get the phone. Dexter realises that Doakes is trying to get the phone, and he gives him water. Doakes at this point hasn't had a drink in a long time, so he's pretty thirsty, drinks the water, but then Dexter starts to smell, and Doakes is like, if you're going to get me, motherfucker, you're going to have to take me down. You're going to have to come in this cage. But Dexter's like, oh, I've already got you down. You just don't realise it yet. And it turns out the water has been laced with a sedative in order to obviously take Doakes down and make it easier for Dexter to kill.
Should Doakes have seen through this? Should Doakes have seen through the bottle of water?
True, but I mean, see the heat.
Drink.
You think of being in America and having no drink for like 24 hours?
True.
Stuck in a cabin?
Now, imagine if Doakes pretended to have a drink and then passed out, and then Dexter came in and he fucking battled him.
Yeah, I mean, if Doakes could have planned that ahead, if Doakes could have maybe fought ahead and outsmarted Dexter, then that would have been a really good idea. Dexter, though, once Doakes passes out, is he going to kill him? Turns out not, because there is a third option. Dexter then goes in. Now, also, before Doakes lost consciousness, he mentioned or something about Harry, and he didn't tell Dexter what Dexter wanted to know, but he did mention Harry's name, and Dexter's like, keep my dad's name out of your mouth. So I think maybe that was is that a reason why Dexter didn't kill him, or do you think he was never really planning on killing him? Could he say he had to kill him?
Yeah, I think it was... I mean, Dexter's changed his mind left, right and centre.
But then, all of a sudden, he found option C, and that was getting Doakes' fingerprints on all of his weapons, all of his tools, all of his knives. That's what he done while Doakes was unconscious, and then he put in a wee bucket for Doakes to take a shit in, because it's all about the luxuries, apparently.
It's all about the luxuries. But let's be real, right? So, planting all the fingerprints on the weapons, but the killer's been careful so far. Why get sloppy now?
Sloppy.
Did you not see right through that?
Sloppy Doakes. We then go to another flashback where it's Deborah's birthday. Captain Matthews visits the Morgan's house and informs Harry that, thanks to a faulty warrant, Rhinus, the killer of the girl we've seen in the earlier flashback, has been released. And Big Match Harry here is absolutely furious. He's smashing things off the wall. And he's not happy with Captain Matthews at all.
What the fuck, Matthews? I mean, it went from 0 to 100. He wanted a slice of cake. Next scene...
Save me the end slice.
And the scotch was up the wall. He was fucking battering Matthews, practically.
He went from slicing the end slice of cake to wanting to slice his wrists. It was a pretty unique turn here, pretty abrupt turn. Dexter then tells Batista tells Dexter that he's got custody of Owry this Saturday. And Dexter invites him to the beach as long as he doesn't bring Lila. But Batista says don't worry, because she is his after-hours project.
I'm not stupid, Dex.
At the cabin, Dexter asks Doakes about Harry. Doakes toys with him. Doakes is like, sure, why don't you let me out and we'll go and have a talk about Harry. and Dexter's like, nah, it's not going to happen. Dexter then begins to get angry, and Doakes enjoys seeing it for the first time because it proves that maybe Dexter is human and he doesn't have control of all of his emotions. And then Doakes then eventually does reveal that there was something he learned about Harry's death that the higher-ups didn't want anyone to know. And he could tell Dexter more, but he isn't going to unless Dexter lets him out, and Dexter's like, nah, he ain't getting it. So, well,
it's like the only thing he's got to bargain with. You can't blame the guy for attempting this.
Yeah, Doakes needs to keep... This is the only card he's got, so he probably needs to keep it as close to his chest as possible. Dexter visits Matthews, though, because Doakes says somebody high up. Matthews is pretty high up, and Dexter remembers, obviously, the birthday scene, and he tries to learn what might be the case about Harry, and then Matthews, kind of surprisingly, just spills the beans and says that it wasn't heart disease that killed your father, it was suicide.
It was suicide! Yeah, I was kind of expecting maybe like a heel turn for Matthews, but then once he started to admit the things, it's like he's not just going to paint himself as the fucking killer here.
Yeah, Matthews basically said that the work got to Harry, a few too many people escaped justice, and Harry couldn't handle it, and he took the coward's way. Well, Matthews didn't say coward's way, but he couldn't handle the fact that some people escaped justice, and he decided to kill himself.
He got a little bit obsessed.
And Matthews, being a good friend and cop, decided that he wanted to try and protect the truth here and not let Harry be known as a guy that decided to commit suicide. And at this point, Dexter realizes the creator of the code is dead. Therefore, it's the code in jeopardy now.
Did the code even exist, Harry?
Did the code exist? We don't know. LaGuerta approaches Lundy with an alibi for Doakes. She talks about one time that they were out on a mission, a constant stakeout. Says Doakes had no time to get a kill in because it's her notes. She took notes, and she can say that during the kill of one of his victims, or supposed victims, that he was with her 100%. But Lundy basically scalds LaGuerta and says, I can't use this. This evidence is
circumstantial.
Yeah, it's basically void because LaGuerta phoned Doakes and she didn't tell anyone about it.
I think that's a bit unfair, but I can see why he's done it.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. If this is true, which I don't think should lie about, and he didn't leave this, like, what do you call it? What do you call those houses?
Steakhouses?
Steakhouses, yeah. Then how could he have done one of them? And I think this is where holes would begin to be seen throughout this. Like, you've got so many kills, and once two
yeah,
or three
but it's just because she didn't disclose the fact that Doakes phoned her. It's like her information, her evidence.
It cancels the other one out.
Yeah, because she's not reliable. She's an unreliable source.
And I guess Lundy's not going to go if he thinks Doakes has done it, which at this point, he's leaning definitely towards... I mean, it's the only lead they've got, really, so you have to go with Doakes.
Yeah, well, then we see Batista play at the beach with the kids. He's pretending to be a monster. He tags in Dexter, but Dexter says he's not feeling like a monster today.
I've been shot.
Yeah, he's been shot, but obviously he can't reveal that. And he then reveals to Rita that Harry committed suicide, and he doesn't understand why. Dexter then gets several texts from Jimenez's phone, and the people that Jimenez was supposed to meet want the drugs. They want the cocaine. And it's a murderer called Jose Garza. So Dexter manages to set up a meet with this guy, and when he does get him, he takes him to the cabin, where we have James Doakes, and Doakes is sitting in the cabin. He's like, what the hell is this? And Dexter's like, your final victim.
Your final victim, Doakes. And what happens next is he wraps the room up. Doakes doesn't really want to see, but he gets to see a wee bit of blood, doesn't he? He
does get to see a lot of blood. Dexter wraps everything up nicely, and he's like, Dexter says to Doakes, don't worry, I'm not inhumane, I'm not going to make you watch. So he just wraps up the entire room, so Doakes can't see it, but when he uses a saw, I think it was like a power drill or a chainsaw or whatnot, we just see the blood begin to leak towards Doakes. And I mean, Doakes doesn't faint, he doesn't pass out, but he got a little bit wheezy, I think. You know, he didn't really like it.
Got a little bit weak in the knees. I think he was already sitting down, but...
You know, it's probably just the fact he's known Dexter so long, and he's just seen how easily he's fucking killed this guy.
That's probably what it is.
You know, it's
probably... one thing shooting someone, but chopping them up into tiny little pieces.
Probably would be tough to take.
And the fact this is like, you know, how many kills the guy's done at this point?
Yeah, Deb then tries to confront Lundy about leaving Miami, but we get a call, and it turns out that one of Doakes' fake IDs was recently used to rent a car. So the whole talk about these two being a couple is kind of on hold right now because we can't be having that. Then we see that after Rita and Dexter trying to patch things up, Lila is not happy about it, so she purchases some pills from a drug dealer. I think they're rape pills or something like that.
What do you call them?
I don't know.
Oh, what's the word? Oh, what do you call them? Not proxies. Roofies.
Roofies. Okay, so they're called roofies. She purchases them off some dodgy looking guy, and then that night, Lila and Batista are painting the house, and she comes on to him. She says, well, tonight's the night, as Dexter would say. And she has sex with Batista, and then after that, she goes into the bathroom. She takes the roofies, and she bangs her head off the mirror, and she's left laying there, unconscious.
Batista's fucked here.
Batista calls an ambulance, but he has no idea what's happened. So, yeah.
Let's be real, they always believe the women. Well, she roofied herself. Come on, Dave, who are you trying to kid here, buddy? I'm predicting Batista's shafted. That's my prediction.
Yeah, back at the cabin, when Dexter tries to talk about the murder that he's just done, he tries to talk about Garza. Doakes doesn't want anything to do with Dexter, and he's almost like disgusted, even though he's never liked him and he's always thought he was a freak. I think thinking someone's a freak and then realising that they're this killer that has got like 50 bodies or whatnot to his name, that's like next level shit. Doakes then tells Dexter to stay away from him, and this prompts one final flashback for the episode where we see Dexter killing Rhinus, the pimp killer, essentially. This guy was the pimp that was killing all his girls, the guy that Harry wasn't able to take down. So Dexter got him off the streets and he killed him himself. Harry walked in while he seen Dexter just chopping up the corpse of Rhinus. Dexter was happy to show Harry his handiwork, but Harry looked at it and began to vomit, and he told Dexter to stay away, which obviously reminded Dexter of Doakes telling him to stay away. And it's at this point Dexter realised, oh shit, you know, coming up with a code was one thing, but actually seeing the code played out was another, and Harry couldn't handle it. And it turns out 3 days after Dexter killed Rhinus, that is when Harry supposedly died, aka killed himself. And Dexter realises, I killed my father.
And Doakes just looks at him like, damn, motherfucker, daddy killer. And yeah, what an episode. Really liked the dynamic of Doakes and Dexter talking this episode. But yeah, thought it was good. Rita's shafted Batista, and Lundy's put his cards on the table.
Yeah, according to the Wikipedia page, this episode had the most deaths, 58 in total, due to Dexter's previous victims being discovered and their implied victims. So, 58.
That's a pretty cheap 58 deaths. So, I mean, it's not like they died in this episode, it's just that their death was revealed.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to count that.
I mean, if a TV shows a news report about a plane crash, like Breaking Bad, are we going to include every single one of them? I mean, at least that happened at the time, like.
Anyway, well, that was there's something about Harry. What's your thoughts? There's something about the rating. What is it?
It's an 8 from me. I like that. I like that, big man.
I'll get an 8 also, guys. 8 out of 10. Solid 8. Very good 8. I think the second half of season 2 has been really great stuff. So yeah, hopefully it continues. And definitely, I'd say I think the second half of season 2 is probably one of the stronger halves of a TV series you'll get. It's constantly, every episode is either good or great. So yeah, enjoying it. 2 episodes to go. We'll see what happens. Can Doakes escape? What's going to happen with Batista? Will Batista prove to be an innocent man, or is he going to go down for something he didn't do? And can Dexter manage to tie up the loose ends of the Bay Harbour Butcher? What's going to happen, guys? We'll find out next time. There's 2 episodes to go. Make sure you tune into them. And of course, there will be Fairy Fids on the channel as well. So stay subscribed. We'll catch you in the next one. And until then, peace.